What do you think you need to gain momentum? What more do you need to do?
Well, this interview right here is going to push us over 17, I'm sure. I just posed the question, if either Trump or Clinton are elected, that things will be more polarized than ever.
The noun that comes to my mind is a screw loose. And I say this almost with affection for Donald Trump. Maybe he should consider some other line of work, like anything other than President of the United States.
It's just not coincidence, I don't think, that Bill Clinton and Hillary both are making huge amounts of money with these speaking fees. Well, a wasted vote is voting for somebody that you don't believe in. And if we're going to continue to vote for the lesser of two evils, that's still evil. We defeated Al-Qaeda. We should have gotten out. We should have gotten out with the caveat that we'll come back if Osama bin Laden raises his head. Marijuana products deal or compete directly with legal prescription drugs that statistically kill 100,000 people a year, and there are no documented deaths due to marijuana. I think we've all had our heads in the sand, and let's wake up. This discrimination does exist, it has existed, and for me personally, slap, slap, wake up.
I am so grateful that we have an opportunity to go beyond sound bites. This politics of fear that tells you you've got to vote against the person you most dislike or the person you are most afraid of, that politics of fear has a track record. All the reasons you're told to vote for the lesser evil, because you didn't want the expanding wars, you didn't want the meltdown of the climate, or the Wall Street bailouts, or the deportation of immigrants. That's exactly what we've gotten by allowing ourselves to be silenced.
We are going to have an alternative message. We're going to talk about why we need to build a new kind of social justice movement here in this country, a new kind of democracy. So we confront the Donald Trumps with a positive message of hope and a positive message of real change here in this country.
Now, a follow-up on that is, please. People will say, well, you know what?
As despicable as Donald Trump's words are, I find Hillary Clinton's actions and track record is very troubling. You've learned really in real time why it is that you can't have a revolutionary campaign in a counter-revolutionary party. All the work you did and the incredible passion and vision and blood, sweat, and tears that you put into that campaign, that lives on. And Bernie himself said, it's a movement, it's not a man. So the unique thing about the Green Party is that we are the one national party that is not corrupted by corporate money, by lobbyist money, or by super PACs. So we have the unique ability to actually stand up for what it is that the American people want, what everyday people want.
This is a critical moment that we have an opportunity to do something really different. The Green Party is the only vehicle we have right now that can offer a real alternative. You know, people are not ready to accept the notion that we have to be held hostage to these two elite parties. People are willing to gamble with the possibility that we can really build something new and different. My whole life has been about building alternative power. It's about speaking truth to power. It's about understanding that it is the people themselves that have the possibility to transform their conditions and transform themselves.
Dr. Stein, given the way our political system works, effectively you could help Donald Trump like Ralph Nader helped George Bush in 2000. How could you sleep at night?
I will have trouble sleeping at night if Donald Trump is elected. I will also have trouble sleeping at night if Hillary Clinton is elected.
Libertarian Party presidential and vice presidential candidates Gary Johnson and Bill Weld, who are at about 10% in national polls, participated in a CNN-hosted town hall Wednesday that introduced them to a national audience that's barely heard of them. In a year when the electorate dislikes the major candidates more than ever in history, they had what might have been a historic opportunity. So, how did they do? We're here to tell you in 3 minutes. First, they explained what a libertarian is.
In broad brushstrokes, fiscally conservative, socially accepting, tolerant. Look, people should be able to make choices in their own lives, always come down on the side of choice.
Then they played a very strange game at the behest of CNN.
Do some word association here. I'll say the name, you hit me with the first thing that comes to mind.
And tripped over themselves to be nice to Hillary Clinton and President Obama before attacking Trump.
President Barack Obama.
Good guy.
Hillary Clinton.
Old friend, nice kid, knew her in her 20s. We shared an office on the Nixon impeachment. Real bond, lifelong. Seriously, not kidding.
Donald Trump, one word.
Huckster.
When asked about gun control, former prosecutor Bill Weld turned the discussion towards a task force he put together to treat ISIS like it's the mafia.
With a 1,000-person FBI task force treating ISIS as a gigantic organized crime family, which is exactly what it is.
Johnson gave a defense of free market health care.
If we could bring genuine competition to healthcare, healthcare would be 1/5 the cost of what it is right now.
A non-interventionist foreign policy.
We don't want to get involved in other countries' affairs. We think that the interventions that have gone on have resulted in a less safe world, not a more safe world.
Abortion rights.
That's a decision that should lie strictly with the woman involved.
And then confirmed that he believes in some sort of God, but isn't all that into organized religion.
The God that I speak to is not doesn't have a particular religion.
Bill Weld doubled down on an Anne Frank analogy to attack Trump.
The rounding up and deportation of 11 million people. I mean, that's a lot of people, and that's going to engender a lot of fear. And Frank hiding in the attic, hoping no noise will alert the Nazis below.
Speaking of Weld, Johnson really loves his VP.
Bill Weld, being my running mate, is beyond my wildest expectation.
Please.
I hope it's obvious. Look, we're proposing to do this as a team. We're not going to have separate staffs.
Mitt Romney said, I would have wanted to see the ticket flipped. He said, I would have wanted to see Weld on top. Not to create any internecine strife.
None whatsoever.
There was the inevitable, what if heroin were legal question.
Please explain to me how you think that legalizing marijuana straight through to heroin can possibly be a harm reduction forum.
I hate to say it, but it's prohibition. It's quality, quantity, unknown that kills people.
And Johnson ended it all with a big middle finger to the two-party system.
If it were to come to bear fruit that you saw that you were hurting Clinton or you were hurting Trump and that was your role in this election, how'd you feel about that?
I'd feel just fine. I do believe that we've got the two-party system is a two-party dinosaur and that they're about to come in contact with the comet here.
So that's the alternative vision the Libertarian Party has to offer this election. Now back to your regularly scheduled political programming.
In the midst of the most toxic campaign ever, as chanting Democrats shout down Speaker Paul Ryan.
2016, the unfinished business is further consideration of the veto message of the President on House Joint Resolution 88. The clerk will report the title of the joint resolution.
Now, Doctor, speak to yourself individually as a candidate. Why do you believe you represent a better choice than the other candidates?
You know, I'm a mother and a medical doctor. I'm in this really because I know there's no future for my kids unless there's a future for all kids. I'm not a professional politician. I don't need a job as a politician. I've never had a job as a politician. I've been a part of the social movements, really struggling for our health, for jobs, for an environment that's healthy for us instead of these epidemics of asthma that we have, the epidemic of diabetes tied into our food supply. I got into this really, excuse me, as a medical doctor, looking at this tide of illnesses that we didn't used to have and feeling like it wasn't enough to just give people pills and push them back out to the things that are making us sick. So I got involved with our communities to help correct these problems at their basics. So now I'm practicing not clinical medicine, but political medicine, so we can heal our political system and start to actually fix these problems that are threatening not only life and limb, but our very existence on this planet.